Good morning. Just wait a couple minutes here. We'll get started. Rookie, you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing
Can you
good.
hear
How are
me?
you doing? Yep.
All good, all good.
It's 11:02. Just start off in maybe 60 seconds or so. How are you doing? Last week of the year. How are you doing? How's it feel?
Yeah, excited for the holidays, and it's been one hell of a year, though.
Yeah, it has been for sure. All right, let's just get started, man. Let's dive into this. Gonna do things a bit differently this time, guys. We have today the last Mania broadcast of 2022. We'll be back in January with a whole new set of Mania broadcasts for you guys. For today, we wanted to close out the year with some obviously some updates. Talk about what the new year is going to hold for us as a project, as a game, and of course for you as gamers. So we've got a bunch of updates for that. Before we get into it, I just want to start by talking a bit about the last year. And Rookie, feel free to jump in whenever you can. But so apparently I'm getting strong reverb on my voice here. So can you hear that, Rookie? Or
It's working fine here, but I'm not entirely sure.
all right, well, we'll keep going. So the last year has been crazy. You said that from the beginning. I remember almost exactly 12 months ago, last January, near ecosystem, the NFT ecosystem, everything was completely different than it is today. Some good things about that, some bad things about that. We saw both of them. But Rookie, why
Ups
don't
and
you
downs.
just? Yeah,
I
exactly,
mean, like,
exactly. Ups and downs.
it's crazy. Like we witnessed probably something that was uh, like pretty unique, right? Like unique times, unique circumstances that led to this entire industry to kick off. It's just incredible to be part of this journey from the start and seeing it grow and crash and then hopefully and probably grow again in the next year when gaming takes over.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, it's been ups and downs. Um, why don't you just tell people a bit about, you know, during that bull run of last year, in the beginning of 2022, what was good about that and what was bad about that, and why are we better off today in a bear market? Although most people think that the bear market's bad, um, there are benefits to where we're at today. So why don't you just touch a bit on that for our viewers?
Yeah, I think the most important, um, the most important thing that's happening now is that we're focusing back on fundamentals, right? Probably the worst thing that was happening during the bull market was hype and words without action, and that was probably um, like the biggest issue for me, right? Is that you had a lot of noise in the industry from a lot of different people who claim to have, you know, great ideas or whatever that they will execute, but actually no execution happened. Um, and with this bear market, with this crash, we're not seeing as much noise. And the true builders are those that are left, continuing to build, continuing to bring these visions to life, and um, you know, making sure that this this industry actually does accomplish what we wanted to accomplish from the get-go, which is build a better experience for users and bring ownership, digital ownership, and digital assets to the forefront with actual utility. I think that the earlier iteration of this industry with just pure NFT art and community kumbaya, that is pretty much done with, because what you end up with is mostly speculators that are in it for mostly um, earning money, right? Cash. And that's why the first iteration of gaming in this industry was play to earn, with Axie and a bunch of other players that were focused on more attaching a gaming experience to economics rather than attaching economics to games. So the
Yeah,
major shift we'll see going forward is great gaming experiences that are enabled by their economy. And at the end of the day, the economy is has to be grounded in I guess the truth of what this game is, right? Which is not to um, like create value out of nothing, but to actually base it on activity and usage and actual um, community consensus on what that value is within the economy. Pretty broad
yeah, for
terms, I
sure.
know, but I can probably rant for hours about this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a crazy year, and the next year I think is going to be even crazier for everyone who's still around building. So, speaking of building, um, one of our community members, Pirohiko, he's been with us since literally day zero, before we even built out the game. He's been posting gameplay videos on Metamon for almost a year now. Um, and I pulled up one of those videos. It's from our early alpha test, and seeing it, the gameplay, the art, the map, the assets, the animations, everything compared to today, it's come a really long way since then. And that's something that I'm personally proud of. Um, but after seeing that 1 year of development, what do you want to tell people about the next year of development? What does that hold for people?
I'd love to see the video if you can play it. But yeah, we again we've come a very long way. We started off probably a year and a half ago to like as a pixel collection, right? As a pixel art collection with gamified elements to it, uh, heavily inspired, of course, by our love for Pokemon and Digimon, and uh, the the quick evolution of this project from a pixel collection to a full blown game and anime inspired artwork and so on. Like that's happened thanks to again like the support of the community and direct communication with the community and growing that genre and that franchise by figuring out what people want. Um, we got very far with that, and thankfully we were able to be one of the leading projects on Near Protocol and grow our community and our economy through crowdfunding campaigns in order to actually help develop this project and develop the game since they since the earlier times, like Maro, can maybe you can um, uh, like showcase those videos as well. I think you sent a link on the chat, but
Yeah,
the earliest gameplay was pretty standard compared to what we have now. It's just incredible how far it's been, and that's all thanks to the great team we have of game developers who've put in their blood, sweat, and tears into this game and this project and bringing it to life from something that was probably like not as main appeal as what we have now. And if you compare what we had to what we have now, it's like a hundredfold increase in quality and in experience.
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
so excited to see where we take it next, right? And like if you think that leap was significant, imagine what the next leap will be. Uh, Especially that like as a let's call ourselves an indie studio with a limited budget and resources. Like for what we've accomplished, it's incredible. So like imagine when we have even more resources, even more access to the resources we need in terms of talent and capital and so on. What will it be able to accomplish next? I'm just super excited for that, and I think that it's just a matter of time. Hopefully, we can also grow in the next few months with the launch of the game on mainnet and so on. We can grow the community, we can grow the number of users, and increase the number of features, and keep on optimizing our game to a point where it can become a mainstream game that attracts as many people as we can.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I found one of those videos of I wouldn't even call this an alpha test. I'd call this a pre-alpha. This is the version of the game we released last January. It's the most bare bones version of the game we ever released. So let me just show you guys that video real quick. Here it is. There was basically no map back then.
No, that's the waiting space before you drop in. So if you drop in, you'll see the actual map. Yeah,
There it is.
it's night and day. It's night and day. I think before we move on to the next step, you should definitely show what the game looks like today, right? So that whoever hasn't seen it uh, can get their eyes on it.
Yeah.
Everything is shifted
It's,
since then. It's just amazing.
yeah. It's really crazy. I'm just smiling really wide right now looking at this. It's like shows you where we were less than a year ago, 10 months ago, exactly, and where we're at today. And like you said, I'm excited, really excited. I wanted to ask you a couple questions, just a couple things I wanted to add to the conversation before we dive into updates and stuff like that. But um, so the last bull run, a lot of people say that it was largely driven by NFTs, right? There were a specific few kind of key events in the timeline of the space that led to NFTs exploding and therefore the entire ecosystem exploding in popularity. You know, NFT projects left and right. So that happened. We got over that bull run. That collapsed because obviously it was unsustainable growth. But thinking about the next run, I know the answer to this question. But what do you think is going to push that next run? What application of blockchain is going to push it?
So barring any like unexpected shift in regulations or whatever that dramatically impacts the future of this industry. If that doesn't happen, if we're good, and even with some regulations, which is totally fine. We're all bullish for regulations. We think that it's necessary and required, but hopefully it doesn't prevent the industry from actually flourishing. If we're on the clear on that front, then this the next bull run is going to be gaming. Um, it's already been in the process of being built for the last year. We're going to start to see projects come out in the next year, and hopefully from there, what we'll see is a lot of user success stories from these games that will help push mainstream gamers towards this new model, including as well a bunch of the AAA games that have been built. So not only indies will be adopting this Web3 model, but also um, AAA games at some point. Now the question is about timing and so on. Like really, it's hard to predict when this wave is going to happen. My opinion is that I think as we have actual games in the market with these value propositions, it's going to be a much easier onboarding uh, to to Web3 than the previous wave, which we've seen in NFTs. Especially that NFTs didn't really have anything valuable, like NFT communities and so on. It didn't have any utility beyond just the community. So when you have community plus utility within an actual environment, simulated environment, which is in our case a game, then you start to see, okay, like there are um, uh, things to like there is value to this asset that you're collecting or you're earning within a game that you can use again within the game, right, within this environment. And I think that that's what's been missing really in the previous NFT crazes, the utility, and that's why a lot of the NFT projects um, have struggled to find some form of utility, whether by building new apps or by building games and becoming a game themselves or whatever it is. That trend has just shown us that this being an NFT is not it's not the product, right? It's not a product. It's just a tool that can enable certain value propositions within a product or service.
Yeah,
So that shift is something that we've seen already. It's going to materialize and become something um, probably within gaming first, and we'll see a huge, probably like a huge success for certain users within a game that will be a marker for a lot of other gamers to be like, why not play this game that is enjoyable, it's fun, and also has this ability to provide me with ownership for these assets that I'm playing with.
yeah, for sure. I'm gonna close that conversation up with something that uh, one of my at least favorite investors in the space, Hasib Qureshi from Dragonfly. He says you can mint NFTs, but you can't mint fun. And that's literally what we've seen over the last year is, gamers aren't the most patient people in the world, but then go to NFT traders and collectors, they become even more impatient. And so that kind of sums it up. It takes time to build good games. And with that, you guys saw our gameplay from a year ago. I'm going to show you a couple clips of our gameplay today, just to show you where it's come. And just so you know, you can download the game right now. You can try it out. Um, Everything's been overhauled from the map, the animations, the characters. We're adding new characters constantly. Um, we're fixing different features. Again, taking feedback from the community and going back to the drawing board. It's a constant process, and our team, like Ruki mentioned, literally put blood, sweat, and tears into this, and this is how far we've come, and we're excited for next year. So, without further ado, let's start. So let's start talking about the game updates. for this week. So, Rookie, I don't know if you want to lead this or should I go ahead? But we had a few
Go
updates that
ahead.
were pushed
Yeah.
out this week. So, basic improvements across the character animations, specifically for humans. Um, the movement speeds have been reduced to aid time to kill. There's been map updates. There's been server optimizations, all sorts of things, just to improve the entire experience. But I guess the biggest update here is the caves and the keys that have been added to the game. So, Rookie, why don't you just tell people what those are and how they change the gameplay?
Yeah, for sure. So the, this is a new feature that we're adding that we've already added a version of it, but that will keep on developing. Essentially, you'll find key fragments or keys throughout the map, and these will primarily be inside of loot boxes. And if you collect these keys, you'll be able to open a new zone within the map where you can find unique loot, monsters, and surprises. But essentially, it's these zones within the game that we can keep on playing with, like this mechanism of having a key and having to to find it to be able to unlock a zone within it. It opens up so many possibilities for new gameplay for users, for new things to do within the game, and more challenges that we can add by adding new zones with different monsters and new types of loot and weapons that you can only find within these zones that can up your game within that specific game loop. Now, we'll also be experimenting with like, because it is a form of a treasure hunt. We will be experimenting with different campaigns using this mechanism uh, by creating these multi-game treasure hunts that use these keys to unlock specific zones. So, like, more to come on this stuff, but just primarily, like, that mechanism is already in the game. You can try it out, give us your feedback, tell us what you think about it, tell us how we can improve it, and let's get back to generating more updates and keep on improving that feature as much as possible. And you'll be seeing again these other campaigns that will leverage this feature going forward to attract users.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about giving the more stuff to do in the game, but also giving them kind of the ability to shape their own gaming experiences, right? Like kind of hitting that whole spectrum of, casual gamers all the way to competitive gamers and allowing kind of the player to choose, what they're going to do in game. So, um, a couple other updates for you guys. So, as you know, we add characters in game all the time. Um, we do have a character coming in very soon, or might have already been updated in the last update. We'll need to double check. But Fella is going to be in game soon. Fella is a fire Metamon, one of my personal favorites. Um, he'll be playable soon. Character is rigged, animated, and almost ready to go in game. And then the second character, which is cooler in my opinion, because this will really change the dynamic of the game. But we're going to be adding our first boss Metamon into the game within the next few weeks. Here is a sneak peek of the character. Character looks awesome. This is one of our mythic Metamons called Drecrayon. And this Metamon is specifically going to be in the boss fights. So at the end of a supremacy match, if you make it to the end of the match, when you face a boss Metamon, right now the Metamons you face in that boss fights are memos. So they're simply just larger memo-sized Metamons. but obviously that's temporary. These are all placeholders as we improve and add more diversity. So this is going to be one of our boss Metamons. Again, as you guys know, as we've iterated many times in the past, it takes time from going from a 2D character all the way to a rigged, animated, playable character. So we'll have more updates on Drakreon soon. Just in case you're wondering what he looks like as a 2D character, I'll find you a photo of him. But yeah, Ruki, anything you want to add to this?
So at this point, you're not able to capture the monster, but you'll be able to battle it. And at some point, we will uh, provide the opportunity for our players to capture Drakreon, and uh, this monster is going to be a very unique one. So I'm not going to say how many population, but it's going to be very low. So only a few people will have access to this monster and be able to actually capture it and own it. So this is going to be, the first taste of what it means to play Metamon, right? Which is having that ability to uh, capture these rare monsters within the game.
Yeah, literally, it's going to be the first taste of that. Exciting. Um, Other than that, in terms of the last update, there's been a couple bugs fixed as well, specifically with this extraction. Like I said, there's been some map updates, a couple new cave loot boxes have been added. And yeah, this is from last week's update. Next up, let's talk about the faction NFTs. So we launched a collection of faction NFTs last February. So again, almost a year ago. These faction NFTs are humanoid monsters, humanoid champions. Sorry, you use them in game to capture Metamon, to fight other enemies, and they're spread across a few different factions. Obviously, when we minted them last year, or at the beginning of this year, sorry, it's still not 23 yet. We had, I think, almost 3,000 of these champions minted. We've been kind of working internally on this for a few months now, really integrating these faction NFTs into the game, but also improving their utility, their art, and everything around the faction NFTs. So we are announcing that we will be kind of upgrading those NFTs for our holders. We'll be offering completely renewed art, renewed supply, renewed utilities for the faction NFTs, and we're going to allow holders to burn the ones they own and claim new ones once we get to that stage. I'm not going to say too much more about that or about dates or anything, but Ruki, just jump in, let people know what's up, and then I will show them a little taste about what the art looks like.
Yeah, so step one, we're gonna burn all the unminted ones. So the factions that you have, Andronian, Trey, and Volcor, and so on, all of those will only the ones that have been minted are going to be existent as a supply in the future. For every minted one, you can burn it and claim the new artwork on like we'll have more details on that. Just like Maro said, you can like one to one burn your old faction artwork and mint a new one. The artwork is going to be upgraded completely. We already have most of that, and we'll give you a taste of it soon. But the also, like, you're not going to lose your rarity. So like it's one to one your rarity and your faction. The rules of factions themselves within the Metamon universe is going to change slightly. So these faction NFTs will are more classified as heroes than like we're changing the terminology in a sense, like we're calling them champions or heroes within the universe. And the factions that like the types of heroes that you have from the faction mint, they're not going to be created again. So they're going to be the most rare within the Metamon universe. We will be adding more heroes down the line, but like it, again, that wouldn't change any of the supply of the existing heroes, and it would be co-measured towards the actual user growth and player activity. In terms of the faction wars and all these details, we do have updates coming up for that. And with the faction wars, we are basically removing the requirement of having to own a specific faction NFT to be part of the same guild or group. So it's going to be more of like we're going to basically add that social element that people have been asking for, which is to be able to come together regardless of what humanoid you own, and be able to create these guilds or groups so that you can compete for uh, like the the week to week or month to month or season to season prizes for the faction wars. In terms of any unopened packs or booster packs that were from the old faction mint, those ones will like you'll still be able to open them before we do the burn. So like we'll give you a warning, and if you don't open them by then, we'll assign like you'll be able to open them and get a random one from the ones that are left, and we'll try to make sure it's a fair opening experience as well, with the same probabilities as the previous like if you were to open them before. So like we'll have more details on all this stuff. Just stay tuned with us. Probably towards January, we'll have more details, and we can we'll do the switch probably around then.
Yeah. Here's a taste of the art, guys. Awesome work from artist William. Again, the supply is overhauled. The rarities are simplified. Obviously, the art has been completely overhauled as well. And like Rookie mentioned, the utilities have been changed. And specifically, the fact that you know your faction ownership doesn't really tie you to a specific season or to a specific guild or whatever makes it more fair for everyone. So let's say hypothetically you're part of a faction where most of the holders don't really play the game. That would be unfair for you. So you'd be able to actually stake it, or whatever the mechanism is going to be able to participate in different faction wars, different guilds, so on and so forth. Again, these like the amount burned is essentially going to be the new supply. So the supply is being slashed by almost 4 times, meaning that these are going to be the rarest faction NFTs that we ever release. So we won't be releasing these specific factions of champions in the future. Like Rookie mentioned, we'll probably be releasing different types of humanoids down the line. But for these kind of OG factions, they will never be released again. So again, we'll have more details on this in January. The burning process is going to be seamless. And yeah, we're excited for this. We really think that this is necessary to kind of take us to the next stage of development. So without further ado, I'm not sure if we covered everything, Rookie, but I think we are able to move on to our character reveal for today, correct?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. So today, our spotlight is going to be on Sparky. So this is a character you guys have been playing with for a long, long time, since our alpha. Um, Sparky is kind of a, you know, aviation bird like Metamon, with electric powers. Um, you know, Sparky can fly. Sparky can throw, you know, electric bolts from far. Very versatile character. Um, but let me show you the intro video for Sparky.
Sparky, Big Bird, as Nuz and Co would put it. Maro, can you replay this with a different source because it was a bit laggy?
Yeah, sure.
Better, but it was a bit stretched. Anyways, we'll post the new video on YouTube so you can check it out yourself. But yeah, great work by Wuju, and as always, um, we like we don't have the card reveals for you yet for Sparky, but I promise you in the next Metamon Mania we'll do double the work, double the reveal.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Sparky is probably my favorite, one of my favorite monsters to play with, just because of the short range, shotgun like bolts that he shoots, and also the Palpatine electricity that comes out of this monster. I don't know, it's just awesome. Mini Zapdos like abilities.
yeah, it's a really cool monster. And I remember the first 3D character we had in game looked a bit traumatizing, specifically Sparky's face. But it's improved a lot cosmetically since then, and I'm happy for that. So here are the battle poses for Sparky. Again, they haven't been put into a card format yet. Um, here's a taste of what those cards will look like. Again, we're, you know, pumping out more and more of these battle poses week over week. Um, and during our next Mania broadcast in January, we will do double the reveals like Rookie promised. So there's that. Before we go, we do have some gameplay of Sparky, specifically in a boss fight. So let me show you that real quick. So as you can see, you can fly, electric shotgun bolts, get good range. Very versatile, especially for new players. And as you can see, this is a boss fight, so that Metamon that's the current boss is going to be changed very soon with Dracrayon or Mythic, which is going to give the game a whole new dynamic for sure. But yeah, there you have it. So let's wrap it up. We went through the game updates. We went through the faction overhaul. Um, went through Sparky's Spotlight. Anything else you want to add before we close it up with you?
Not really. I mean, we'll still be around. We'll still be playing. So join the game. There's still going to be updates in the coming weeks. Holiday season doesn't mean that the game is pausing in any ways. Just spend your Christmas playing Metamon if you can.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, we're going to be around too. Um, we are going to be taking a break from the weekly broadcast. So this is our last one of 2022. We'll be back in early January with another one. A couple weeks ago, we had a giveaway, kind of a treasure hunt in game for players who were collecting cards. They were entered into a raffle. Um, just wanted to congratulate our winner, Crystal Parker, who took home a $70 Amazon gift card and 500 Metacoins just for collecting a few cards in game. So, congratulations. We'll be having a lot more of those types of giveaways next year. Um, and yeah, Happy New Year to everyone and Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year, everyone. We'll talk soon. See ya.